He's getting the live stream going. We good? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Adoption Day 2021. I can't believe it's been a year since we were here doing this already. I'm Linda Bobrin, Register of Wills, Clerk of Orphans Court, in case you don't know that already. I want to thank you to Mervyn and his company, and Eric, for joining us today. I've decided I'm never going anywhere without musical accompaniment again. So I appreciate them giving us some background music. We're here again today to celebrate adoption and all aspects of the adoption process. We will continue that tradition we started last year of live streaming. It delays us a little bit, but it's worthwhile. So that's kind of what held us up a little bit this morning. As most of you know, this program started a number of years ago, since our office is the filing office for Orphans Court, the court that handles adoptions. Over the years, we've honored various people and various groups associated with the adoption process. We have the honor in our office of helping to create new families. As part of the program, we try to highlight some of the heartwarming and family stories that come from these adoptions. This year, we're proud to honor the organization Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Bucks County. We're going to learn a little bit about that organization, about what they do, and how they help the children of Bucks County. To begin our program, I'd like to introduce Governor Tom Wolf, who was kind enough again this year to send a welcome video. So I'd like to direct your attention to the screens around the room and to Governor Wolf.
Hi, I'm Governor Tom Wolf. Welcome to the Bucks County Adoption Day celebration. About 135,000 children are adopted each year in the United States. And this is a great opportunity for us to celebrate the 56 adoptions in Bucks County over the past year. Family comes in many shapes and sizes, and Adoption Day is the time when we celebrate them all. During this year's program, we're honoring the work of Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Thank you to everyone who participates in this important program for your dedication to helping kids in your communities. That's what Adoption Day is all about, helping kids, building trust, spreading love. So thanks for celebrating with us.
And I thank Governor Wolf and his office, who's always very generous to do that for us. Next up is no stranger to our program, Sharif Abaza. Sharif is a local attorney, a former member of our district attorney's office, where he worked for about 5 years, and no stranger to our Adoption Day program. He has shared his story with me as an adoptive father who took that plunge not once, but twice. He has 2 daughters, ages 16 and 19, and he and his wife of 25 years, Pam, were present at the birth of both of their children, and he's here to share his adoption story. Sharif?
Thank you. I want to clear up a misconception. A lot of adopted parents, and I think Matt will agree with me, people come up to you and say, what a wonderful thing you've done. You've taken this child and you've taken them in. What a wonderful thing you've done for them. No, it's a wonderful thing you've done for your family. It's a wonderful thing to make your family. We adopted because we had a tragedy. We lost our daughter, 5 days old. We were crushed. We adopted my oldest, Jenna. We were there for the birth. In fact, I cut the cord on the insistence of the birth mother. Jenna's now 19. She's a freshman in college. She is a soccer player. She's a very good soccer player. How we went around this was through this is we used Sam Tatera. Sam is a well-known adoption lawyer in our county. We provided and produced a brochure about my wife and I, and we would send it to various birth mothers. Jenna's birth mother found us and accepted us and wanted us to be Jenna's mother and father. Brianne, my youngest, is actually Native American, and she was born in North Dakota. She is from a long and proud tradition. She is Lakota. We have learned as much as we can about her culture to pass that along to her. Now, I would have never learned what I've learned about my daughter's background had we not adopted her. Adoption is a wonderful thing. Adopting Jenna, my oldest, made us be able to smile again. Adopting Bree, our youngest, made our family complete. three greatest days of my life are my wedding day and the days that my daughters came into my life. We were there for the birth of both girls, and we have contact, if they wish, to their birth family through Facebook. Some people say, well, are you worried about that? Are you concerned about that? I simply say this: there's never enough love for a child to have. There's nothing wrong with them reaching out to find out where they came from. I'm not intimidated. I'm not scared. I am their father. That will never change. But adoption is a wonderful thing, and whether you are a part of it as being an adopted child or an adopted parent, this is something that should be encouraged, that is right and is good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharif. Our next speaker can tell us an adoption story from the adoptee side. Nikki Khan is a former teacher, a wife, a mother to a young son, an advocate for children, and an adopted daughter. She has her own interesting adoption story, and I'll let her tell it to you. Nicole Khan.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I intentionally did not wear mascara this morning. Linda, when she had asked me to speak today a few months ago, I had no idea. But thank you, good morning, and for having me today. My name is Nicole Pete Khan. I am standing here today in front of you this morning because 35 years ago, a couple with huge hearts and a welcoming home wanted to have a family of their own. I apologize. I've actually never spoken publicly about this. On May 13th, 1986, my brother and I, at the age of 5 and 7, arrived at JFK after having traveled halfway across the world from Seoul, South Korea. I will never forget that flight on a 747 that was filled with babies, and for the first few days of our here in the US together. My parents, John, who is since deceased, and Al Capete, not only opened their minds, hearts, and home to two children they had never met. They had said yes one evening when the adoption agency contacted them about 2 children, older than what most couples were wanting at the time, and then we came as a pair since this agency did not want to separate us. My early childhood years were spent in various foster homes. After our biological mother abandoned us and our biological father was unable to care for us. Even though my story started as a sad one, it brings me here today, having lived experiences few could imagine. These experiences have made me the person that I am today. I grew up in a rural, blue-collar family. I had a great childhood filled with lots of education. This was something I did not have access to in Korea. Lots of family, friends, and experiences that my brother and I never even knew existed before we came to this country. I had my first birthday party at the age of 8. I had lots of friends, sleepovers, I learned to swim, I learned to camp, fish, extracurricular activities, all the things that you want for a child growing up. I went on to become the first on my dad's side to go to college and then further my studies with a graduate degree. I was only the second on my mom's side to attend both college and graduate school. I have worked as an elementary school teacher in Philadelphia and a dean of students for 8 years. I have traveled the world and lived an amazing life here in Bucks County with my family. My son, coincidentally, is now 7, the same age I was when I came to this country. My story is an extraordinary one, but it is not the only one. It is because of people like you here today, and many more around the country, who took a chance to open their hearts and homes. Every child deserves to grow up in a safe and loving family. My brother and I would not be here today, living our lives, had my parents not decided to adopt us. Every child deserves the opportunity to have a forever home. Thank you, and I am honored to be here today.
Thank you, Nicole. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about our honoree for today, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Bucks County. The organization has been in existence for over 50 years. Its purpose is to empower children to become successful emotionally, educationally, and socially. It's about creating relationships and empowering youth to make good decisions. Big Brothers Big Sisters provides mentors, or bigs, for children, or littles, and provides one-to-one relationships built on trust and friendship. Our own Bucks County Children and Youth Department has a program called Options, which is a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters. The children and youth clients meet twice a month with Options case managers for mentoring activities like sports, laser tag, arts and crafts, museum tours, dinners, etc. They secure ongoing support for self-improvement with self-esteem, healthy peer and family relationships, and other areas of personal growth. The children gain another non-judgmental resource that will listen and advocate for their best interests. They become inspired from guest speakers and career day professionals, and they become empowered to make positive decisions for their future. I'd like to direct your attention to the screens for a short video about Big Brothers Big Sisters.
We are a mentoring organization. We provide mentors to children who may need somebody in their life to help them through a time which may be a little difficult.
It's like having a best friend, but it's a lot closer connection than a best friend.
The organization itself, I think, is extremely well run, and there's so many people with fantastic intentions.
I like Big Brothers and Big Sisters because it helped me grow up and develop.
Being a big brother has enabled me to see the world from a view that I never had growing up. I am from a different environment than the littles that I have worked with, and it is amazing how my worldview has changed when I see some of the difficulties they go through that I never had to go through.
I think it's filled a void since my children are grown and graduated college.
It makes me feel happy that I'm with the program, and I feel that it was a great choice that I've made for my life.
They'll meet together twice a month and they'll work through different situations. It could be something so simple as going to a park to go fishing. They can go get ice cream. You can go to the nail parlor. But that quality time provides an opportunity for conversation where kids open up, and sometimes some pretty big issues may be resolved.
It's like someone you can depend on and know you can talk to them, and you have a trust and an understanding and a respect from each other.
I want him to be a family man. I want him to be a difference maker. And I think he's on the right path to do that.
I would recommend Big Brothers to every adult I know, and I have.
I thought I was just doing a good deed when I started out, but it's turned out to be a tremendous experience for me.
It's helping me learn a lot of things, and it's just making me more of a young adult that I want to be. Knowing that they're there for me is a very good part, because it's always nice to know that there's someone there.
Our programs really do change the lives of children. Kids go to school more, kids get better grades. I see kids learn self-confidence. That's what we're all here for.
Our next speaker is Dr. Jan Selkov. She's a retired professional educator who's been a teacher, a school principal, a college professor, a school board member, co-founder of a dual language charter school, and an education consultant. In addition, she's been part of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Bucks County since 2010 in one capacity or another. And I learned this recently while discussing today's program. Jan adopted her daughter, who's now an adult and a social worker in Massachusetts. I know you'll enjoy what Jan plans to share with us, so sit back and relax. And here's big sister Jan and her little sister, Ashlyn.
Good morning. I'd like to begin with a little story. Some time ago, I read about a man who was suddenly called home to the funeral of a very special neighbor. As a young boy, Jack was very close to Mr. Belzer. You see, Mr. Belzer had no children of his own, so he spent a lot of time with Jack, teaching him the things he thought were important. As Jack hung up the phone, he thought to himself, were it not for Mr. Belzer, I wouldn't be half the person I am today. When the funeral was over, Jack stopped one more time to visit Mr. Belzer's old house. Everything was exactly as he remembered it, but as Jack's eyes scanned the room, he was startled to see something was missing. A small gold box Mr. Belzer always kept locked on the top of the desk was gone. Jack must have asked 1,000 times about that box, and now all Mr. Belzer would ever say is that it contained the thing he valued the most. And Jack thought he would never know what it was that his old friend cherished so much. Several weeks later, Jack returned home from work to discover a package had arrived. The paper was old and brown, and the handwriting was difficult to read, but the return address read Mr. Harold Belzer. Jack ripped open the package, and there it was, the gold box and an envelope. Jack literally shook as he read the note inside. Quote, upon my death, please forward this box and its contents to Jack Bennett. It's the thing I valued most in my life, end quote. With tears in his eyes, Jack took the small key out of the envelope and unlocked the box. Opening the cover, he found these words engraved inside a shiny gold pocket watch. Quote, Jack, thanks for your time. Harold Belzer, end quote. As this story reminds us, time is our most precious asset, and the surest way to be thought of as a loving person is to invest our time in the ones we love. So why am I a big sister? As in this story, Jack benefited from his relationship with Mr. Belzer, but as we learned, Mr. Belzer valued their relationship just as much. I guess I'm just like Mr. Belzer. When people ask me about the youngsters who qualify for being a little brother or a little sister, I say it's a young person at risk of adversity. That's a pretty broad category. They may be at risk of adversity because of finances, academics, legal, emotional, health, social issues, and so on. Think back to when you were growing up. Think of a time when you were at risk of adversity. When did you face challenges? Maybe a time when you were not feeling very sure about yourself. Maybe you had a difficult decision to make. Maybe you would have benefited by having someone, a mentor. Maybe that person would have come in handy. I know it would have helped me at various points in my life. The current mission of Big Brothers Big Sisters is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. Sounds nice, but what does that actually mean for the little brothers and little sisters? I have had the privilege of having 3 very different little sisters over a period of 11 years, and the honor of having worked at the Bucks County office of Big Brothers Big Sisters, coordinating the Hispanic initiative as a result of a grant that the agency received. I say that it was an honor because as the Hispanic Match Support Specialist, I facilitated the match between Bigs and 60 Hispanic littles over a 2-year period of time. Some of those matches continued for years. How do I know that? I saw them together at the December holiday parties and the summer picnics. I saw them together at the volunteer recognition events in the spring as the agency recognized the little brothers and little sisters who were still in the program with their bigs as they graduated high school and aged out of the program. And yet, they still spoke of their plans to maintain their connection with their big brother or big sister, that mentor who was heavily invested in their welfare over the years. Now, a little story about my three little sisters. I was Joyce's big for 2 years. She was 16 years old with special needs and in search of a big sister to share time with her for 2 years before she aged out of the program. I was pleased to support her in developing her self-esteem while sharing time together and having fun. Even now, we are in touch with each other on Facebook and at Christmas and birthday times. My second little sister was Tiara. I met her when she was almost 8 years old and entering 3rd grade. I loved the way she looked up at me that first day with her braids and big dark eyes. Our official journey lasted 6.5 years until her family moved to Allentown. But our relationship continues on. I'm sure she holds on to the same dear memories as I do, besides the many family events where I was included, such as birthday parties and weddings. In an effort to show her that everyone, regardless of how much money they have, can serve their community, we filled supply bags for a women's shelter, donated our hair, 8 inches for me, 12 inches for her, to an organization that makes wigs for those in need. And she helped me take care of the many kittens I fostered for the SPCA of Bucks County. Probably the biggest and most monumental time was when I took Tiara to my alma mater, Penn State's main campus, for a weekend. As we toured the campus, I took a photo of her in front of every tourist spot and compiled it into a book titled My First Trip to Penn State. Tiara is now 17, in 11th grade, and very much interested in attending Penn State. Clearly, we are still in touch on a regular basis. She knows every day that no matter what, I am still on Team Tiara. My current little sister, Ashlyn, is 9.5 years old. And as you're going to see now in a short video, she is way more than just adorable.
It's good.
Hi,
Hi,
what's your name?
my name is Ashlyn.
How old are you, Ashlyn?
I am 9 years old.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 4th grade.
Wow, you're a big girl. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have one brother named Jason.
How old is Jason?
He is 10 months old.
Yes? What do you do with Jason?
Well, I play with him sometimes, but the thing that he does to me is he makes me laugh every single day.
He has a big smile all the time whenever I see him. He seems like he's a happy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about school? Do you like school?
Yeah.
You have favorite subjects in school?
Math and reading.
What do you like about math?
I like that we have these math boxes, and each day it gets harder and harder, but the teacher always helps us with the questions.
So when you are able to do the hard work, how do you feel when you're able to get all the answers?
When I get all the answers by myself, I feel excited because I feel like I can solve hard questions, and I'm getting better at math.
That is the idea, right? We just learn and get better and better. Great. How about reading? You like reading?
Yeah.
Are you reading any great books right now?
Yeah, I'm reading this book called Out of Time, Stuck in the Titanic, I think, chapter, the book one, and I'm also reading Charlotte's Web.
What do you think of that book, Charlotte's Web?
I think it's a great book so far, and it's kind of sad that Charlotte had to give Wilbur to her uncle.
Yeah, I think everybody loves the Charlotte's Web book. That's been a a favorite book of many, many people for a long time. So since you are my little sister, I was wondering if you like being a little sister.
Yeah.
What kinds of things do you like about being a little sister?
I like that we go to like fun places and we always have fun.
What kinds of things that we've done together have been your favorites?
Going to parks and like doing the paddle boat. I said book one.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember. And I remember your legs were too short to reach the paddles. That was pretty funny. I didn't expect that. What are some other things that you like that we've done?
Well, when we went to the park.
She is smart, kind, energetic, funny, and caring. I met her in 2019 when she was turning 7. And yes, we have kept the energy going through COVID thanks to technology. For several months in 2020, we had story time where I read stories to her, but I had even more fun when she read stories to me and showed me the illustrations. Ashlyn is a big fan of rainbows and puppies, and she is best buddies with my dog Prince. I even keep a photo of them together on the main screen of my phone. She loves to do arts and crafts. She knows the words and dance moves to all kinds of music. And she is now taking piano lessons through a local grant. And I just happen to have an idle piano in my house, which I had tuned so that Ashlyn can come over to practice her new musical skills. However, in all seriousness, despite the significant life-changing events that I have witnessed in her little life, in just 2.5 years of being sisters, involving big changes in her family, where she lives, where she goes to school, Ashlyn knows that I am a constant she can count on. I am there for her, and I am her chief cheerleader. To close, I want to read you what Tiara, my second little sister, wrote when she was 12. I was receiving the award for Big of the Year for the Hispanic Initiative in 2017, and Tiara wanted to speak at that event. So this is from Tiara, my little sister, in her own words. And this clearly explains why I do what I do. Good afternoon, my name is Tiara, and I wrote this letter for my big sister, Janice. Hope you like it. You were the best sister I could ever ask for. Growing up with you has been the hardest yet most incredible thing. I thank God for you every day. You have taught me in my 12 years of living that I can look up to you. I can't even imagine where I'd be without you. I want to thank you for loving me even when I'm struggling to love myself, pushing me to be the best version of myself, setting a good example of the person I want to be. I could never thank you enough for shaping me into the person I am today. You are a beautiful angel sent from the heavens above. I love you so much, and I'm proud to call you my sister. Love, your little sister, Tiara. And now you know why I feel the same way that Mr. Belzer felt. Time is our most precious asset, and I love sharing it with my little sisters. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Someday we'll get all the tech to work in one program. So, our final speaker today is Senator Steve Sanasiero. The senator has worked as a township supervisor, a social studies teacher, a state representative, a lawyer. In fact, was appointed as Chief Deputy Attorney General for Environmental Protection in Pennsylvania, and is now our state senator. I'm happy and honored he's able to help us celebrate Adoption Day today. And I know he's very familiar with the good work of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Bucks County. I'm proud to introduce our state senator, Steve Sanasiero.
Good morning, everyone. Linda, thank you. Thank you for your leadership and for holding this event. It's an important day for all of us to remember the challenges that our children face and the work that is done in our community by so many different organizations and by so many families. I want to thank Nikki and Sharif and, of course, Janice for sharing your stories today, because I really do think that they underscore why we're here today. You know, our children are our most precious asset. I don't think there's any question about that. And as a parent, and I know those of you who are parents in the audience will, I think, relate to this, I can remember when our first child, Nancy, was born, and many nights being up with her, feeding her the bottle, getting up with her when she was sick, taking turns with my wife, Ronnie, getting her through those first few ear infections, and then subsequent things that came as they do in childhood. And you, as a parent, you start to reflect, and you start to understand what being a parent is. And it really has nothing to do with biology. It has everything to do with your heart and your soul and loving. And so today we pause to recognize the gift that is adoption. The gift that so many families open up and take children in and change their lives miraculously. It is about that. It's about that love. It's about that relationship. And the other thing I think that you reflect on as a parent, you never look at another human being the same way, because you understand that we are all somebody's kid. That love you have for your child, which is like no other love could ever have, you know that that other person, even if you're at a point where you're thinking, boy, that guy or that girl, she's crazy, she's nuts, someone loved that child. Hopefully someone still does. We're called upon, I believe, to heal this world. And there can be no better act of healing this world than taking the life of a child and making it better, either through adoption or through the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. And Nikki, you are an example of just how this world can be healed, and what a wonderful person you are, and the things you've done, and the people you have touched. And think about your parents. Had they really any idea when they adopted you and your brother what they would set in motion? And that's the other thing I can tell you I've learned as a teacher, and I'm sure Bob Harvey would agree with me on this. You never really truly know what impact you have on other people's lives. You might never know it. Janice, you've learned, obviously, through your littles and through some of the stories you've shared with us today. Sometimes you do find out, like when you have students in a class. But make no mistake, you have an impact. So that is really why we're here today, to celebrate that and to congratulate everyone in our community who steps up, either as an adoptive parent, as a foster parent, or as someone participating in the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. And as Linda mentioned, I know the program well. I try every year to get to the celebration dinner where all the bigs and the littles are recognized, because I think it's important. I think it's important that we celebrate together as a community, and we thank you for everything that you do. So I am honored to be here today, and I see my colleague in the General Assembly, Wendy Thomas. Wendy, why don't you come on up too as a member of the General Assembly? I want to present to you a citation on behalf of the State Senate, but really on behalf of all of us in the General Assembly, congratulating Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Bucks County on what you do.
Thank you so much.
And also, I have with me a flag of our Commonwealth that's flown over our Capitol in your honor.
Thank you so much.
So
And thank you for always coming to those events.
it's
You're definitely always there. So
I'm
thank you.
welcome. Let's why don't we between the two of us. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, I want to thank Linda for your service to the community and leading on this. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Senator Sanacero. Thank you. I want to thank all of our participants. Just hearing the personal stories is always the best part. It humanizes all of this for all of us. You know, when we file paperwork, I said this last year as well, you kind of forget the human side of it. You file paperwork, you go to a hearing, but, you know, if we get to actually go to the hearings, you see it, that's the celebration of it. But hearing the stories makes it much more interesting, much more human. So thank you all for coming here today. I really appreciate it. Please stay and have lunch. We thank Huntington Valley Bank once again this year for sponsoring lunch for all of us as well. So it's out in the hallway after you leave. And thank all of you for attending. And we'll see you next year. We'll be doing it again in 2022. So thank you, everyone, for being here.